Hello, everyone. This is my end of servant leadership course, servant leadership plan presentation. I call it The Road Ahead, What is to Come. So I'd like to get started with an introduction. Using servant leadership is something I plan on doing to not only improve my school, but also my community and career. This course has taught me that servant leadership is more than just a strategy, it's also a lifestyle. In order to truly be an effective servant leader, the leader needs to authentically and genuinely want to serve. Service comes from the heart. God created us to be servants to Him and to others. And as Mother Teresa says, faith in action is love, and love in action is service. I learned that servant leadership is an effective way of leading not only schools, but businesses as well, like Chick-fil-A and many others. That when the leadership is willing to listen to their employees and strive to empower them, the employees will find more value in themselves and their work, creating a harder working, more effective workforce. Also, the employees will be more loyal, they'll be happier, and they'll find fulfillment in their jobs, knowing that they are valued and that they are important pieces of the makeup of the entire business. In playing this part, the key is to always look for opportunities and knowing that every problem that arises is an opportunity in disguise. And then learning to use teamwork, collaboration, but characteristics of integrity, honesty, effort, and learning from each other. So in my situation, there are many limitations. As a teacher, and as I watch my principals, a lot of the limitations come in forms of politics or paperwork. In the community, it comes in forms of poverty. And from the parents' standpoint, it's coming in forms of previous experiences and preconceived notions. Many of them come in automatically shut down to the idea of working with teachers to better their students. With poverty, many of them are coming in understanding that the most important thing is family and taking care of each other, not necessarily advancing oneself or improving oneself academically to try and get out of the situation they're in. It's a cycle that's been going on for years and years and generations, and the continuation of that is all that they know. It's all that keeps them safe and makes them feel comfortable. And the idea of somebody leaving that can actually cause rifts and problems within the family. There's also expectations that can sometimes be overwhelming with testing and all of the trauma that many of our students go through. We can be asked to do things beyond our ability level and yet are still expected to do them successfully. The key, I think, is knowing the resources that we have and finding ways to empower others who are capable of those things and connecting the right people and building relationships. Paperwork, on my standpoint, is my biggest limitation because it takes so much of my time. There's with grading and all of the prep work it takes to create invigorating lessons and quality activities, preparing for state tests and maps and dibbles and days. There's just so much that goes on with that paperwork that you have to have, and documentation for students with IEPs, for the EL program. These take a lot of my time that I would like to be using for things that might be more servant leadership like, but they're still a necessary part of continuing a quality classroom. Moving into some of my strengths, I think that this course has really taught me how to be more positive, how to look at situations and try and see an opportunity instead of a problem. The reframing aspect of taking the negative issues and turning them positive was very powerful to me personally. The expectations are also strengths. I think the expectations challenge you to set goals and to achieve those goals by working through them. It helps me create a little more effort sometimes when you're tired or down and feel like taking a break. You think back at those expectations of those goals, and as a competitive person, I want to be the best. I want to win. I want to know that what I've done has mattered. And so when I am tired or when I am exhausted from, none of my three kids sleeping or being up till 11:30 with baseball and then my baby waking up in the middle of the night, I realize that there's more important things at that point in time and that I'll catch up on my sleep. And yet I still find it very important to take care of myself, to look for ways to exercise, eat right, get rest when I can. But what that does is creates a patience. And I think through that desire to be the best and to hold myself accountable to expectations, I think authenticity comes out. I try to be who I am, and I'm somebody who listens. I'm somebody who wants others to be happy and wants to serve. But through this course, I've learned a new strength is to empower others. Something I may not have been that great at was looking at how I can use other people's talents, other people's abilities, and trust them to go do things. A lot of times I wanted to do things on my own because I thought either I didn't want to inconvenience somebody else or I thought I'd do the best job. And so I've learned that by empowering others, not only can it create more value in them, more self-worth for them, but it can also be a better workload for myself and help me get things done in a more efficient way. The personal effect it has on me as I go through this servant leadership is the fact that it really is kind of draining. There's a lot of emotional connections that I have to the students, to my work. I'm not just a teacher, I'm a parent, and I see all 26 of my kids as 26 of my own children. And, they tell us at trainings all the time, don't get too connected and don't let yourself be emotionally drained. Take care of yourself. But you know what? When they hurt, I hurt. And I have a sense of accountability and attachment to their success and to their failures. So when they're in trauma and when they're not doing well, I have a sense of responsibility for that. But at the same time, I also have a sense of responsibility for when they're successful. And on the positive side, when they grow through tough situations and find peace, safety, and solace in my classroom, I feel an indescribable sense of joy, elation, and purpose. And on the staff side, it is a little more time consuming. However, I find that the time I spent serving is more fulfilling time spent. So while it takes my time, it's worth it. It truly is no better feeling than serving others and seeing that when they succeed and knowing you played a part in that success, there's a feeling that it just can't be replaced. It also builds better relationships, and at work, that means more fun. It's nice to be able to talk with teachers and joke with teachers and use that adult time to release some of the anxiety or some of the pressure that you've been feeling throughout the day when you're surrounded by 26 9-year-olds. I've discovered that I have a long way to go. There's so many worldviews and scenarios and that I've never learned about or experienced, but I had a chance to learn through this course. I had a chance to study through this course, and I had a chance to read about through this course. I've learned how to listen and look from different perspectives without jumping to conclusions or leaning too heavily on my own worldview. I plan on continually reading and exposing myself to diverse learning environments. Sometimes being in environments where I'm a minority or around situations I've never experienced can be overwhelming and uncomfortable. I want to have an open mind and perspective when entering these situations to help me not only feel more comfortable, but find things I can learn from. I believe every experience can be a learning opportunity, but you have to be open to think of it that way. Validating and understanding is something that really took hold during the last part of the unit with me as I continue to work with troubled students and difficult areas in education. I want to make sure that I first validate their feelings and opinions to continue building relationships, and also to understand what they're going through, or at least help them think I understand, so that we can reframe and look for ways into growing opportunities. My servant leadership project will hopefully make staff members, parents, and students more comfortable with technology, school events, and communication. It may even open up some doors for me professionally. I'll be teaching a catalog course and hopefully leading some staff development. I would love to be in a role where I can find common complaints, fears, or problems the school and community are voicing and work with them to develop solutions that bring peace and success to all of them. I plan on demonstrating servant leadership by continually working with integrity, growing professionally, and having an open ear to the needs of the school and community. Needs are constantly brought up in meetings, conversations, and observations. By listening carefully, I can use my training to work towards positive solutions. I feel that this course helped me improve my abilities of empowering others and looking for talents and passions of others. Sometimes I catch myself trying to do too much because I don't want to inconvenience anybody or because I think I do the best job. However, I've learned that it is important to lead by example and trust others to do their job. I expect people to notice a change in my role, or as far as how I conduct my business. Sometimes I feel constricted in the classroom, but with 26 students and families, I can't focus that much on those outside. I don't feel that I make much of an impact on the rest of the school while I'm in the classroom. I hope people will see that I want to reach out beyond the classroom and serve those that I work with, as well as the families outside my classroom. I want to set an example through patience and follow-through. The year always starts off great, but it doesn't take long for teachers to get overwhelmed with testing, grades, and classroom issues with troubled students. I want to be a positive face and voice of encouragement to staff members and a refuge for students needing support. Reframing negative situations and validating the feelings and opinions of others can be contagious. I plan on being a voice of reason and support that the school and community need. My faith plays a vital role in my work. I do teach in a public school, but faith goes with me and is shared frequently. I may not come out and preach the gospel to my students, but my strength comes from the Lord. I love to share proverbs, parables, and examples from people in the Bible to help explain classroom situations for the growth mindset and dealing with adversity. My hope is that I am a light shining in the dark world, and whether I'm leading people to Jesus or not, the example in which I live my life and carry out my duties at work will catch the attention of those seeking a Savior. My project will be sustained and improved over the summer through catalog courses, surveys, and from professional development in August. My principal and curriculum coach has already bought in and want me to present and help as much as possible. I'm hoping to use some time this summer to organize and plan for the course and the PDs, but also to learn more about ways to maximize communication and effective teaching through different apps, sites, and integration ideas. I want to make it as easy and simple as possible so the teachers who aren't as tech savvy can easily navigate, teach, and utilize the technology. I also want to make sure the parents' information is explained well and easy to apply. Surveys, emails, meetings, conferences, and collaborative discussions will help me learn what is working and what needs to improve. So the road ahead, my 5-year scope, is a little hazy. I've never felt the call into administration before this course. I witnessed the stress and workload my principals have gone through, and not all of them handled it with the same amount of grace and patience. Some didn't seem to have an impact on the staff the way they would have liked to due to so many student behavioral issues. Now I feel the call to work with more people than just the students and families in my classroom. Yes, I can still do that as a classroom teacher, but there are so many other opportunities in the district and within my school to utilize my servant leadership skills to bring the school and community together. I know students grow faster and feel more self-worth if the parents are supportive, engaged, and have the resources, knowledge, and ability to reinforce learning at home. I've worked with many parents to create a support team around their child. I supported their ideas at school, and they support mine at home. This full circle of support made a tremendous difference in the pace at which the students improved. Perhaps I'll be in administration, perhaps I'll be in a curriculum or technological role, or perhaps I'll be in the classroom. I do know that no matter where I'm at, I'll look at opportunities to listen to others, empower others, and serve those around me in order to create a more successful and fulfilling workplace.